I want to talk to you a little bit about disenfranchisement over in Great Britain. Police say that they fear, quote, a summer of rage as people are angry and they take it to the streets. On Friday's program, we war-game different scenarios for the future. Not predictions of what will happen, but different things that could happen in this country and around the world and how it will affect you. I didn't do this program to scare anybody. We just have to start thinking out of the box. I mean, the White House, the military, the intelligence community, they do war games to figure out what to do in case of a worst-case scenario. Why shouldn't you be able to do that? One of the scenarios is the Bubba effect, that anybody who's in the military knows exactly what that is. You probably haven't heard it. What it is where people who are already disenfranchised by the government, something, by the way, that in the latest poll I've seen has jumped, I believe, 20 points since June. I don't trust the government. It's about 50% now. They see the government as violating the Constitution, and they will see themselves as defenders of the Constitution. Not a good mix. Then they take matters into their own hands. On Friday, I asked two of my guests, Michael Scheuer, he's a 22-year CIA veteran, and Tim Strong, retired Command Sergeant Major in the U.S. Army. I said, what do you do about this? How do you diffuse this, Michael, or how long even do we have before this becomes a crazy real scenario?
Well, I don't think you'd want to diffuse it, Glenn. We've had a 40-minute program so far. And all of the problems we've talked about in one way or another are the result of the American government either overspending or overreaching.
Okay. Tim Strong, he's retired Command Sergeant Major in the U.S. Army. He went on to mention, he said, underneath, Civil War, I'm afraid it's going to be even worse. Tim Strong is back with us. What did you mean by that? Do you remember saying that or mouthing that, Tim?
Hey, Glenn, good evening. Hey, again, congratulations on being the #1 slot there at 5 o'clock.
Thank you.
Puts a new different thing on 5 o'clock. Hey, you know, when we talked about that, you know, you look historically back, we've got to be very cautious to ensure that we educate people. You know,
Right.
The Bubba effect, let's give some clarity to that first, Glenn. When we talk about the Bubba effect in our terms, you know, we're talking about anybody, as you talked about, that has a history in the military, to the former president who was also called Bubba. So we've got a Rhodes Scholar down to people that have paid the price, have done their deed, and gone home. And, you know, they're the individuals that just through, they are not only disenfranchised, they've basically become disengaged, because they're sort of waiting to see what the government's going to do, both locally, state, and those type of areas. So they're drawing caution to the unthinkable more than they are scrutinizing or speculating. If that, so where do we go with the summer rage scenario? Where does that go in terms of a relationship with America? 9/11 was unthinkable. The stock market was unthinkable. So it's truly something that you need to have an idea about to make sure that you're prepared for.
Look, you know what? There were some listeners of mine on the radio show. I said 2 years ago, I said, stock market's going to be about 7,500 points. I think it was around 14,000 when I said, we're looking at a nightmare scenario. Well, here we are, about 7,500. Those people who chose to put their heads in the sand and say, oh, you're a fearmonger, whatever, that's fine, whatever. Others took action and, you know, took their money or protected their money as they started to see the signs of the sliding down. I hope to God none of this happens, but you've got several different scenarios. Tell me a little bit about, you know, there's these tea parties that are going on all over. I think taxes are going to be a point, but they're not a point right now. You've got more problems with people, you know, for instance, gun laws being enacted, or with the thing that Eric Holder said last week. Do we have the SOT from Eric Holder? Listen to this.
Though this nation has proudly thought of itself as a ethnic melting pot, in things racial, we have always been, and we, I believe, continue to be, in too many ways, essentially a nation of cowards.
I find that offensive. So offensive. We're cowards.
Well, Glenn, I think it probably had some interesting discussions over the dinner table that night outside the media realm as well. And I think, you know, when you're in a position of responsibility like that, making a comment like that, a better choice of words could have been used. When we talk about the melting pot from my 28 years of service, I have to reflect to the great job of what the Department of Defense is doing in regards to equal opportunity, integration, tolerance, and stuff like that. We do a phenomenal job in educating all soldiers from walks of life, sailors, airmen, and Marines, to be a combat force, to be a force that understand, respect, and work together. If a role model needs to be portrayed, let's use DOD and what their programs are doing to show that, our nation is based on the people that join our Army. And when our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines separate, they bring that back to their hometown and they educate their communities. So we should applaud our service members for that.
You know what, Tim, and I don't believe I'm alone in this. I have more respect for the servicemen and women in our country. They actually give me hope, and I think it's because our military they're based on the principles that are the founding documents. They are there to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States, and they know it, and they live it every day. Tim, thank you very much.